Wow.
Currently, he is the Regional Marketing Director for Southeast Asia of Easy Taxi. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Mario Berta.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I am not really in an easy position today because how can I talk about entrepreneurship after MVP from Smart, Maria from Rappler, Earl from Idea Space? They are the real Filipino entrepreneurs. They are the real Filipinos entrepreneurs that are making a country entrepreneurial. So I'm not going to talk about entrepreneurship, obviously. I'm going to break it down in manageable pieces and analyze components which we believe as a company that each single entrepreneur should have. These components are innovating and selling. So if you don't innovate a space, you're gonna die as a company. If you can't sell your product, your service, or yourself, you're gonna die as a company. It's as simple as that. So before going that, allow me to introduce myself and my company. I work for Rocket Internet. Rocket Internet is the world's biggest internet incubator. In the Philippines, we own companies like Zalora, Lazada, Easy Taxi, and we have more to come. I'm sure you're familiar with our brands. I specifically work for Easy Taxi. Easy Taxi is the world's biggest internet taxi application. We are present in 3 continents, 23 countries, 11 languages. We just broke 2 years of operations in the world and 7 months in the Philippines. We started, like I mentioned, 2 years ago, and in such a short time, we made Easy Taxi the biggest taxi app in the world. We have more than 2 million downloads, 5 million users, and like I mentioned, we are across the world, and we are in 8 countries in Asia. That makes us a true global application. So if we talk about innovation, why do we exist? Why does a company like Easy Taxi exist? Because we want to solve a problem and enhance customer experience. The first problem we want to solve is very easy. Regardless of where you are in the world, regardless of your disposable income, nationality, time of the day, there is only one way to book a taxi if you are in the street. Right? It's no other way. Or over the phone. Now, the problem is, over the phone, most likely your experience is going to look like this. Okay? It's stressful. It's a nightmare. It's absolutely a nightmare. So our mission is really to change the transportation industry in each country where we are. Not only change it, but also in some countries to rebrand it. Let me take this opportunity to announce that we have a solo female rider promo now, where every solo female rider gets in a cab, she will not need to pay the additional 70 pesos on top of the meter fare. Why are we doing this? Because we notice there is some misconceptions from the female to the taxi transportation industry because of the bad press, which is somehow is justified by a lot of good taxi drivers out there. So that's just to give you an idea. This is the experience we want to deliver you. It's a taxi in the quickest and safest way possible. So that's why we exist. Now, if we talk about products and innovations, you really need to find your product where it fits. You need to understand your vertical. And I'm going to make it very short here. Each of those companies, I'm sure you're familiar with the first, maybe less familiar with the second, which is India's biggest retailer. They have analogs and antilogs, meaning they have companies they take example from, and company they take the opposite example from. Let me be more specific. So when Apple was creating the iPod, they find out through Sony Walkman, which probably most of you don't even know, you are too young, is the desire of walking and having your music with you, the desire to own the music. That's something that Sony created. The Antilog, so a company that was going in the direction of the iPod, but was doing this illegally, was Napster, which allow you to download the music, to own the music, to share the music. Just a little problem, it was completely legal. So Apple created the iPod using as an analog Walkman, the idea to bring the music with you, and as an analog Napster, the idea to owning the music but legally. Same for Pantaloons. Pantaloons has used the same companies as analogs and antilogs. Like I mentioned, is the biggest Indian retailer, but before becoming that, it was a bazaar. The bazaar on the front customer-facing part was messy, like Indian like it. Like they really like it. They're like people bargains and chaos, these kind of things. But on the back end, it was running as efficient as Walmart, as efficient as Tesco. They had category managers, they had purchasing managers, things that none bazaar had before. So on the front, customer-facing, it was the opposite of Tesco, but on the back end, it was exactly like Tesco. So that's a good example how a company can look at analogs and antilogs. Now, what are the quality that the product should have if you want to create a product? This is what we call the dicey. So a product has to be deep, means you have to have a lot of feature. He has to understand your problem. That's why it has to be intelligent. Like in our case, it's safety in the Philippines. In Singapore, it's speed. So we want to deliver you a taxi very, very fast. It's complete. A product has to come with everything. It's the whole picture. You buy something, you want the manual of instructions. You want the customer support. You want the stickers to put it on your laptop. It's the whole picture. It has to be empowering. Means when you have a product, you have to feel powerful. It has to allow you to do more things. You have to feel more creative. And finally, it has to be elegant. That means it's a product that cares about user experience, a customer interface. Once you have a product, you need a partner. Like Earl mentioned before, all the company mentioned, Oracle, Apple, Cisco Systems, there is not the solo genius, egomaniac entrepreneur. There's always at least two. You always need a partner. And you need a partner because it's tough, guys. It's very tough being out there and fighting with the market and fighting with the price, fighting with the customers if you're alone. You need the partner. Now, we are an established company, but we still need a partner too. In our case, it was Smart. When you select a partner, you need to ask yourself first, what is the benefit you can give to such a partner? What problem are you going to solve for him? Is it you're going to make marketing for him? You're going to allow him to save money? You're going to bring him into a market where he's not? That really much depends on where you guys want to go. Why you need a local partner? It's obvious. You know, it's cultural understanding, market knowledge, local expertise, protections in some countries. And then, you know, you have to understand how many partners do you want and if you want to stick to them. My suggestion is be picky but loyal. Pick one partner or two partners, but make sure are the right one. They will accompany you throughout your journey. Now, we have a product. You have to understand how you want to make money out of it. It's very important. There is no VC, family, friends, or fool that's going to give you money to find your company if you don't understand how you're going to make money. It's not the first objective, but it's a very serious component you need to take care of for the future. So understand your business model. Like in our case, in most of the countries, we charge the driver only. In the Philippines and in Thailand, we charge the passengers because the average ride is very small already. If we start charging the driver will actually lose money on picking up our rides and our passengers. So there is no business for anybody of us. The product, you have to adapt the product in each single country. Let me give you an example. Red is a color very important in the Chinese culture. So many companies from America, they were going to China and using blue as a color, which is the worst color you can use in China. That's a lack of local knowledge about the Chinese way of doing business. You have to understand your users. Who are your customers? Where do they come from? What's the segmentation? How you make money out of them? For how long you want to make money out of them? Where do they go? Where do they hang out? Are they married? Are not? They have kids? Whatever. You have to understand your customer inside out. And then you have to understand the way you have to communicate. It's not important what you communicate, but it's how you communicate. That's much more important. And then, of course, it's a local team. In our case, the local team, we have about 30 people in Manila, but we are about 3,000 across the world. And we highly invest on our people. This is just an example of how our app look in all our countries. Above is Philippines, below is Brazil. Only the landscape changed, but the branding is exactly the same because we are a truly global company. Also, the user interface. Now, you can't see, but above is Hong Kong and below is Korea. Completely different countries, but the user interface is exactly the same. Now, why do we have fun? We have a lot of fun. This is the daughter of one of our employees that she's actually sitting there. That she came to the booth once and she fell in love for us. And you know, this is the same approach you need to have when you have employees, if you might have employees. The employees that come you for money only are the wrong employees. People believe what you believe. I repeat, people believe what you believe. If they believe in your product, they're gonna work for you. Of course, you need to pay them. But most important, they need to believe what you believe. Our employees believe what we believe. And then, you know, I make fun of myself. I make fun of my competitor across the world. And, you know, we invest a lot in our people. This is an example on how we invest in the garages here in the Philippines. Here is when we run a singing contest among our drivers. Above is when we train them about the user of the app, where we give them classes, we give them financial educations, we give them customer service education. So it's really important for you to understand these components. That's the innovation. Sales really comes from yourself. First of all, you need to believe in your product. I know it sounds the same everywhere, but it's really true. It's really the first sales is with yourself. Nobody else can sell your product. You need to be sold first. Second, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared when you get into a meeting. Sometimes people come to us and pitch us companies and ideas. They don't know who we are. They don't know what we do. They don't know where our money comes from. They don't know. They have a semi-PowerPoint presentation ready, no product, no preparation at all. It's very important. And the preparation is understand the company, understand the industry, and understand the person you're talking to. That's also very, very important. Because especially in Asia, success is based on relationship. If you connect with the person you are pitching to, your likelihood to close the deal is much, much higher. So again, the first sales is with yourself. Get prepared to a meeting. And like Earl says, make it happen. That's most important. Well, that's it for me. I'll invite you to visit our booth over there. We are recruiting also. So if young folks want to join an extremely entrepreneurial company, I'll invite you to visit us in our booth. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Thank you very much.